Good morning.
Hello, teacher.
Hello. So as usual, I'm gonna write down your names. Just 1 second. Okay, I have Juli, and I'm supposed to have Carlos. I'm calling Carlos right now. In the meantime, I'm gonna share my screen, and we're gonna start right now. Alright, so today's topic is a CEPTO topic. It's related to the use of English. As you wholly know, the use of English is related to the study of grammar and how well do you use your grammar for communicating in English. Well, it turns out in English, dashes and hyphens are very common, so we have to know this in order to improve our scores in the exam. So let's start. The hyphen. The hyphen is a punctuation mark that's used to join words or parts of words. It's not interchangeable with other types of dashes. So quick note, the hyphen and the dash. The hyphen is often very short. This is called the N hyphen. It's called the N hyphen because it's about the size of an N. Alright. Now we also have the M hyphen. Imagine we have an M, and so the hyphen is larger. It's about the size of an M. If I do this a little bit better, it will be something like that. So this is the M hyphen, and this is the N hyphen. Remember, the hyphen is always short. The dash is longer. So the dash is longer than the hyphen and is commonly used to indicate a range or a pause. The most common types of dashes are the N dash and the M dash. So, Fully, if I were to ask you, what is the dash? Could it be the M dash or the N dash?
Nicolás estaba revisando mi usuario y veo que me permitió
I
descargar su
think
boletín, entonces
is
lo envié por acá, ¿listo?
M dash.
N
I don't sure.
or M?
Yeah. M, but I don't sure. I don't understand very well.
Okay, don't worry. So M is the hyphen. And N is the dash. The question was, what is the dash? Is it the N hyphen or the M hyphen? The answer is the N because it's shorter. So the dash is the N dash. Now let's talk about the dash. We're gonna see some examples so that you understand this a bit better. The first use of the dash is to interrupt. We're going to put a T on this. So let's look at these examples. I ran to the bus stop, but the bus stop had already driven away. I ran to the bus stop, but the bus had already driven away. So Juli, what is the interruption in this sentence? The first one.
The dash.
But what part of the sentence is being interrupted? This one or this one?
The first.
The first.
No, the second.
All right, that is correct. So is the second one, because the second one is interrupting what happened in the first place. I ran to the bus stop. We're supposedly guessing that the first thing I did was run to the bus stop. But then what happened? That is the interruption. What happened next to the thing that I was doing is the interruption. So, but the bus had already driven away. If you were to use another sign of punctuation, let's say the comma, the colon, the semicolon, what would you use to replace the dash?
Comma, teacher.
The comma, very good. That's correct. So a good way to think about this is that you can use the comma instead of the dash. So it's kind of the same usage for the dash and the comma. Let's look at this example. You can use the comma, but the dash feels more interrupty, so the dash is more abrupt stop. So what this is saying is that the comma and the dash have the same nature of interrupting and giving us some rest, but the dash is more interrupted, is more abrupt. So I ran to the bus stop and suddenly the bus had already driven away. This gives us more sense of an abrupt interruption instead of the comma. So when you have something that is immediately after something, use the dash. Let's look at the second example. So it can act as a parenthesis. The bug, which landed on my nose, had to be the size of a softball. In this case, we're talking about an explanation. For example, if I say the gold and I want to give some sort of explanation about that goal, I can say the gold, which is so the gold, which is mined from Colombia, is expensive. This is the same as saying the gold, which, and I open my parentheses, which is, and so on, is expensive. Exactly the same usage. So right here, the dash starts with an opening right here, number 1, and it closes, number 2. It can act as a parenthesis only if there are 2 dashes. And what is the use of that? It's giving me explanation about the subject. And that's it. Now, the dash can also be used as a colon. What is a colon? Is this one, the symbol that looks like this. So let's look at this example. I have only ever wanted one thing, snacks. Let's remember that the use of the colon is to open up an exemplification of something that I was talking about. So for example, there is only one source of water. The river. There is only one source of water, the river. So I'm given an exemplification, I'm given an example of that thing that I was just talking right here. Instead of that, instead of using the colon, I use the dash. Like this. And that's it. So there is only one source of water, the river. So Juli, I want you to give me an example of a dash that is used like a colon.
Okay. For example, I have a dog. Colon. He's his name is Rex.
That's a good example. I have a dog. Colon, his name. Rex. You got it. That's a good example. Now, one special thing to know about the dash, and is that the dash, you have word, space, word, space, word, space, but the dash is word, dash, word. There are no spaces between the words. No spaces. Right here. And that's it. There's a final use of the dash, and it's to indicate interruptions in speech. So when people are talking, this is very common when you read a novel and there's a dialogue, you will see a dash when people are talking. So this is an example. Watch out for that. Dash wham. Wham is just an interjection of a sound that something very quickly happened. Let's say an accident. And there's no correlation of sign of punctuation that replaces this kind of dash because it's a dialogue. The only thing you have to know about this is that there's only one dash. And that's it. So in summary, there are 4 uses of the dash, which is the longer dash, remember, longer. First one is to interrupt. Second one is to act like a parenthesis. Third is being used as a colon. And the fourth one indicates interruptions in speech. Watch out for that. Let's say Marcus says, watch out for that. And then there's an interruption to what Marcus said, and it's an accident, let's say. All right, now let's go with the hyphen. The hyphen is very short, as opposed to the dash. The dash, remember, is longer. The hyphen is shorter. There is only one use to the hyphen, and is to join 2 words into one. Let's say I have something that looks yellow-green, but I don't know the word for yellow-green. I have to make this example one word. So let's say I have a table that's yellow-green. In this case, I need to use the hyphen because the hyphen is giving me the opportunity to join 2 words into one. Let's look at this example. Her hair was yellow-green. Her hair was yellow-green and green were her eyes. Juli, please tell me, we have example number 1 and number 2. Number 1, is this a hyphen or a dash?
It's a hyphen.
Very good. Hyphen, correct. So the hyphen is joining 2 words. So you got it. Now let's look at the second one. Her hair was yellow. Green were her eyes. Is this a dash or a hyphen?
Dash.
Dash. Very good, you got it. So what kind of dash is the second one? What's the role of that dash?
I have a question, teacher.
Yeah, tell me.
The use of the hyphen is to join 2 words, and the use of the dash is like a what?
Is to do an interruption.
Okay.
Okay. So in this case, the second one is a dash, and the role that is acting upon is doing an interruption. Now with this example, you were able to see the difference, which you had a very good question. And now let's talk about compounds. So compounds is the word that we use when we join words with a hyphen. We also call those words hyphenated. There are three types of compounds. Open, like this one, which doesn't have a hyphen, and it's online. Then we have hyphenated, which is with a hyphen, online. Hyphenated is just a fancy word for saying that it has a hyphen. And close, the two words that I joined but don't have necessarily a hyphen, online. Let me tell you a quick story so that you understand this a little bit better. When the internet started, the word online was very rare, but people needed to relay the idea of being into the internet. So they had to come up with this term online, which by the time it was very new and people didn't have a hyphen for it. Then some years passed, let's say 10 years passed, and people started realizing that they needed to have one word instead of two words for that. So they hyphenated. They put a hyphen in between on and line. Let's say this was in the year 2002 online. Now, after that, the term online started being very, very common. People started using it all the time. So instead of being hyphenated, people came up with just one word, and that is online without the hyphens. So what we can say about hyphens is that hyphens or hyphenated compounds are those in between stages of acceptedness. Let's say there's not a word that doesn't exist right about something, but you want to talk about it, so you hyphenate it. It's intermediate. When it's very accepted, then it's not gonna have that degree of acceptance, so you can just leave the hyphen out. Now we're gonna do some exercise that clarifies the use of hyphen in terms of clarity, and I have these two examples. I want to buy a coupe from the co-op. Do you know what is a coupe, Juli?
Like I don't know, teacher.
So a coop is a little house in a farm where many chickens are allocated.
Okay.
Let's say these are chickens. This is a coop. And then we have this word co-op, which is a store owned by many people that sell many items. It's also called a cooperative store. But in short, in English, we have this word co-op, which is also very accepted and can be written as co-op without the hyphen. So in this case, we have something confusing, and is that if I don't know what's a coop and a co-op, I can say, I want to buy a coop from the coop. This is very confusing. So if we want to avoid that, I need to use the hyphen. In this case, I want to buy a coop, which is this, from a co-op. In this case, I'm using the hyphen so that I make clear that I'm buying this from a cooperative. And that's it. Now let's do the test. I have it ready. You're gonna do this test to practice, but this is not the final part of the lesson. You're gonna do some examples after this test. All right, let's start.
Okay.
So, Juli, please read the question and the option that you have.
What is the red punctuation doing in this sentence? It's hard to walk my dog down my street because right next to our house is the vet's office, his least favorite place in the world. Choose one answer. It's a dash. It's separating sentence elements. B. It's a hyphen. It's combining two words.
You can think about it.
Okay. Give me a second, please.
Yeah, of course.
A, teacher.
A. So it's a dash.
Yes, I think
Let's see.
so.
That is correct. Very good. Next question. All right. So read it, please.
What is another? Okay.
There are 4 questions.
Which ones of this sentence use grammatical punctuation? The 3 crayons I graved out of the box were green, blue, and red, orange. Choose one answer. A. The 3 crayons I grabbed out of the box were green, blue, and red, orange. B. The 3 crayons I grabbed out of the box were green, blue, and red, orange. C. The 3 crayons I grabbed out of the box were green, blue, and red, orange. I think I don't know. Maybe A?
A, let's see. Check. No, you have to try that again.
Yes, C, it's possible?
Let's see. And no. So in that case, it's B. The crayons I grabbed out of the box were green, blue, and red, orange. So why is it this option? Because you're talking about many colors. Blue, after that you're supposed to put a comma, then green, and red, orange, which is only one color. Remember, this is mixing 2 words into one, red, orange. As opposed to, let's say, where green, blue, and red, orange, there is no punctuation here, and this where is supposed to have commas in between those. So that is the answer. And you can say also the green, blue is a color. This is a good way of exemplifying the dash, but there are no commas, so that's the reason. Mark this.
Okay.
Next question. Now, the third question.
What's the red punctuation doing in this sentence? I wear my dirt-covered shoes every day, no matter what people tell me. Choose one answer. A. It's happened. It's combined two words. B. It's dash. It's a dash. It's separating sentence elements. I think I think A, teacher.
All right. Let's check that out. Very good. So in this case, it's mixing dirt covered because it's explaining the quality of the shoes and it's mixing those two words. You got it. Now, final one. Read it and pick an answer.
Okay, which one of these sentences use grammatical punctuation? Frida was surprised to find out that her delicious ice cream was sugar-free. Choose one answer. A. Frida was surprised to find out that her delicious ice cream was sugar-free. B. Frida was surprised to find out that her delicious ice cream was sugar-free. C. Frida was surprised to find out that her delicious ice cream was sugar-free. Okay, let me check, please.
Yeah, of course.
I think B. Oh my goodness, I don't know. I
Think
think
think about that a little bit better and come up with something.
mhm.
Do you need to mix delicious ice cream into one? Is it extremely necessary?
I think it's most probably C
All right. C. So why it's C?
because it's most maybe coherent, like a sentence was sugar free. I think.
Right. Yeah, I wanted to look at that because sugar-free is a very common word, so it makes more sense. Let's see. That is correct. You got it. So in this case, this is the exactly the same example as I was saying in the presentation. The last slide was talking about the common usage of two words into one. This is similar to the word online. You have sugar-free, fat-free, and so on when you are going to buy foods. And it's using a hyphen because it's combining two elements. Very good. Now to finish this session, I want you to give me one example of a sentence that has a hyphen and another sentence that has a dash. So this, I want you to write it on the Skype chat.
Okay.
And tell me if you have questions to construct those questions.
Okay, teacher.
All right.
Teacher, I got it. I write in the chat. On the chat.
Good. So this is the example of the dash or the hyphen?
Dash, teacher.
Dash, all right. So I need you to write another one for the hyphen.
Okay.
All right. I have two books, blue, green, and another one is red. So this one is a hyphen. Let's look at the first one, which is a dash. The final test was very difficult. This is good. It's perfect. You're combining very and difficult, which is acceptable. It's a bit uncommon to hyphenate very and difficult. In this case, I will suggest you to hyphenate final and test. Let me write for you. So the final test was very difficult. This is the dash.
Okay.
All right. Now but yours is good. It's just very uncommon. Now I have two books, blue, green, and another one is red. So blue green is perfect. It's a shade of color which is very hard to have a name for that. So you're combining blue and green to say that something looks bluish and greenish and greeny, if there's a word for that. All right. Those examples are very good. I wonder, Huli, if you have questions about this lesson.
No, teacher, I don't have any questions.
All right. Just one final thing. Do you know how to request the CEPTO exam?
I don't know, teacher.
So when you're ready and you want to apply the test for the CEPTO test, this was the CEPTO lesson, you have to write an email to the leader of Lile and Lilei, which is Julio. I'm gonna write down the name. And when you're ready, write to him, tell him, I want to do the test, the CEPTO test. Give me just 1 second.
I think my request is possible on March the next year.
Okay, that's perfect. I think, if I'm not wrong, they apply this test every 2 months. So you have to write him just for the dates. 1 second. Okay, I got it. Is this one? I'm writing it down. Yes, I just sent it. So in March, you're telling me when you feel ready there, write to him and tell him I want to apply for the test. It's free. They're not gonna charge you anything. And that's it. All right, Juli. So it was a pleasure having you. I hope you have a nice day, rest of the day.
Okay, teacher, my pleasure too.
All right, take care. Goodbye.
Bye bye.